me a one if you can all see my screen. You can all see my screen, right? Okay, so just a quick recap on whatever we did in our last class. It was all about introduction to web development, where we talked about some of the basic terminologies used in this world, in this website development environment, where we had what is a website, and we said it is just a website is a collection of files hosted over a network, But then we gave a rightful example that when you are in a typical office, we have those files that are kept in a cabinet. But now when it comes to web and website development, we have those files that are being hosted somewhere in a network. So those files, when pulled together, they create what is known as a website. We talked about domain and hosting, and the domain and hosting is now, the domain is now your website name, that which you identify yourself with in that World Wide Web, in where you've hosted or where the files are kept, the names you've given your file. That is how you are identified in that environment. So that is your domain. And then hosting is now where you've kept those files, where you've kept those digital files, where you've kept all the web pages, all the images, all the codes that all compose of a website. So that is the hosting. We talked about domain types and hostings. Where we have domain types, we have now the different TLDs. We have the .com, .co, .ke, and how and where they are used. The different hosting types we talked about, we had shared hosting, we had VPS, we had cloud hosting, dedicated server, and just to mention but a few. Then we talked about where and how you can actually purchase the domains or the hostings. We identified some of the local companies or local service providers that we have. Where we talked about, we have Host Pinnacle, we have Kenya Web Experts, we have TrueHost, we have HostFiti, just to mention but a few. Then globally we have Namecheap, we have GoDaddy, we have HostGator, and the rest. So to the guys who were never in the last class, actually that is what we talked about, but then we talked about them into depth. And discussing them into depth is all about mentioning and then giving typical examples. So in today's class, we'll be talking about, we'll now be moving to one type of a website, and that is now the blog site. Or commonly known as a blog. I know you actually heard of this word blog, or someone is just a blogger, someone is blogging. But then a blog site is just that simple website that its posts normally discuss on informational contents. And then the informational contents that most of these blog sites actually talk about or actually contain, some might be political, some might be talking about lifestyle, some might be just for reviews of different products, some might be educational, some might just be for pure business. So that simple website that have daily posts, or maybe not even daily, but actually in very occasional posts. I'll not even talk about occasional, but then we'll say timely posts. You'll find that after every 1 hour there is a post, after every 2 hours, or maybe in a typical day, they're making like 5 posts. So such type of a website is known as a blog post or a blog site. And here in Kenya, we have an example of blog sites. We have Bikozulu being one of them, which normally blogs about, I'm not sure about, but I guess you've heard, I think it talks about some politics and lifestyle. We have Kawatungu, also another political blog. We have Tuko. Tuko mostly is for news, some gossips, some lifestyles. It has quite a lot. It has quite a lot of information. And these are not just these are just some of the few examples we have here in Kenya. But then we have quite a lot of blog sites everywhere around the world. For blog sites, normally when it comes to domain naming of blog sites, they don't have restrictions per se, but you can use the commercial extension that is .com, or maybe you can use country-based. For example, in Kenya, you can use .co.ke, or you can use, if you are blogging on educational contents, you can use .online. If you are blogging on business, you can use .biz. If you are blogging on reviews or you are giving product reviews, you can use an extension like .com. So those are some of the few ways of naming your blog, and these are some of the few examples we have and what is ideally a blog website is. So how do you start this blog site? Remember, I said blog site is actually, it is the simplest, because for a blog you can run it as an individual, as long as, because you are the blogger, you know where you will be generating your contents, you know how you will be generating your content, so you can run it by yourself, or you can have a team of 2 or 3 people who are content creators and will be updating the blog in each and every day. And it happens sometimes you might visit a blog site, but then you will identify that this blog is written, and then you will see the author down somewhere there that it's written by so and so. So to some extent, some blog sites might hire a ghostwriter. A ghostwriter is just somebody who just writes contents, or maybe I might be running a blog site, but then I don't have that time to create my own contents. So you might hire a freelance writer, a content writer, or a blog writer to be writing contents on your behalf, provided you have the niche. Now, how do you identify your niche? It depends with your passion. I might be passionate about politics, so I have to identify a blog, or I have to give my blog name a name that resonates well with politics. Maybe I want to talk about lifestyle, or you call it something to do with beauty. So that is where you identify, then you create a name. Remember the other day we talked about name generation, that you only go to a website like business name generator, then provided you have your niche, that is, maybe you want to talk about health, you want to talk about lifestyle, you want to talk about politics, then you can just do a quick search. Then it will actually help you finding a name that can actually do well with your niche. So that is just some. You can see we have Jacquet politics, Enquire politics, Saga politics, just to mention but a few. That is just some of the different ways you can identify. Once you've identified your niche, then you go to getting the domain. And remember, we said the domain is now the name that identifies yourself in the World Wide Web. Once you have your domain, so a domain, you can't be having the domain, but now you need to purchase it. You need to purchase the domain plus the hosting plan, which we talked in depth in our last lesson. Then you create and install apps. What are these apps? We are going to talk about the apps that are to be installed in a blog site and how to customize your blog site. Once that is done, you will now start blogging. Blogging means now posting contents into your blog site, and then you have to start marketing your website, at least to move traffic onto your blog site. Before we go back to getting a domain name and a hosting, we talked about others or various service providers that can offer you free domain and a hosting. Free domain and a hosting, and that is, we have Wordpress, we have blog post, a product of Google, we have wix.com, we have site 123, just to mention but a few. We have quite a number. We have quite a number of these service providers that can give you free hosting. But remember, I told you, when you go for a free hosting, that is when you're going to start a blog site in WordPress or in blog post or in wix or .com, there is one thing that you'll not have full control over your website. That is to say, when it comes to creating or when it comes to installing apps and customizing, there are some of the things that you will not be able to customize, and there are some of the things you will not be able to install, because ideally, I said, you do not have access to the cPanel, the control panel that we talked about last time, because from your cPanel is where you can install the apps. That is, if you want to install a WordPress theme or a WordPress, or if you want to install a PHP, or rather, I'll say a Django, or even a PHP or a Python program or a Python application onto your website. It is from the control panel that you will use to install these things. But when you're using a free domain, that is, if you're using the WordPress or the blog post or the wix.com, you will not be having these advantages. And that is why I'm insisting that it is very good, or it is very nice for you to get a domain name and a hosting, so that you have full control of your website. You can install and customize it the way you actually want it. Because when it comes to WordPress and Blogger post, to some extent you will not be able to. There is that idea that you need your website to appear. You need your website to appear as responsive as it is. You need your website to appear in a very professional way. But then, when you're using this free domain and hosting plans, they will not give you that advantage or that control into designing your website to look as perfect as it will be. So, let us look at the parts of our website before we now go to how to start your blog. Parts of our website only has three key sections. That is, we have the header section, the body section, which contains all your contents now, and now we have the footer section. An example of this, in this Market It Online agency, we have from anything above this line here, anything above this navigation bar up here is now the header section. Then we have this section, everything you see from delivering growth, moving down, client served, up to this part here where you see the end of this this is dark blue. That is now the body section. And then we have this lower part. This is now the footer section. Once you've known all these things, it becomes very much easy for you to identify which part do you want to customize, which part do you want which application to run, which part do you want which plugins, or what functionality do you want to appear where. So that is ideally the basic structure of our website: the header section, the body section, and the footer section. Now, how do you create a blog using these free domains? First, I'll just show you quickly how to start a free blog on WordPress and blog post. So just move to, let us just Google blog post. For a blog post, because it is a product of Google, so most definitely you'll have to have a Gmail account. Let me use a, once you've Googled blogger account, it will bring you to something like this. Forget about this other one. This one I created a blog just for demo, but now I'm taking you to step by step on how to create or how to start a blogger from blogger post. Once you go to blogger, you sign in with your email address, that is a Gmail account. Then you come here, you choose a name for your blog. This is the same as the domain. This is the same as the domain for your blog. For example, you want to talk about sports, so you can give it Sports Arena. Sports Arena. Then you go to next. Then you now give it the URL. The URL now combines your domain name, but now you can see this one gives you the extension by itself, blogspot.com, because it is a free domain. So you can just give it Sports Arena .blogpost, but now this one is not available, so I can choose another one, Sports Arena Media. Maybe I give it a, see if it is available. Seemingly this one is available, so you go to next, confirm the display name. So display name is the name that will that will appear like this one here. This is now digital marketing agency, or maybe you can call it now the market it agency, or for this case we are now calling it the Sports Arena. So here you give it spaces, Sports Arena Media, then you finish. Just as simple as that, you have your blog ready. But it is not ready as such, because where it has no content, it has no theme. So even if you were to view it, even if you were to view the blog from here, you will see it has nothing. There's nothing here. Why? Because we have written nothing. So from here you can now change the theme. That is how the styles, like this one is a theme now, how you want your contents to appear, how the color identification, anything that can actually be of great help to you. So we have, when you're using this different, when you're using the blog post, it has inbuilt themes that you can actually pick from. The problem with the blog post theme or this free domain and hosting packages is that in as much as you will see that this theme actually looks very nice, but then to some extent when you import it or when you install it onto your blog, it might not look as that. Why? Because of that element of not having that full control. So there are some other contents that are hidden from you. You cannot actually get access to them. So let's say, for example, we are going with this theme here. Just select the theme, then you apply. You can see theme applied successfully, and you can now see from here. So once you have your theme here, then you start customizing. Installing the theme is there where we talked about you install apps. So a theme is like an app, because it is what gives your website the feel. It is what gives your website the identity, because you can now see this one has another theme, but then this one is customized. When you go to a website like give me an example of a website. Let's talk of Kawatungu, that blog. Kawatungu. Yeah, you can see their theme. It's a theme of red color. It's a theme of mostly red color. Then it has that you display contents like in a slider show, then a featured story to be somewhere here, then another story here. We have more stories to follow. Then that is how it is. So that is all about now customizing. Now you've installed your theme. So how do you want it to be? Because ideally you might show it this. It might look this way, but then that is not how you want your viewers or you want your visitors to see it. So what do? You customize. So customizing is where you remove whatever they have in this theme and you put yours. You remove whatever it is in this theme and you put yours. If you want to change the color, if you want to change the writings, if you want to change whatever you want to change, is all about here. So you have the background here. You can change, you can remove, change it to a different color. From there, advanced is now the page text. How do you want it to be? The font types you want to use. You want to use which type of colors? You can see from here. Then the gadgets. The gadgets, to some extent, we call them the widgets. When you see from here, the widgets that is showing here is only about me, but then you can add some. You can add blogs, archives, pages by your wish. So that is known as customization. You can change the layout from here. You can see the layout. We have about me, which is a widget somewhere here. So you can move it from here. You now see the header section. We have the sports arena header. Then the page layout, we have now the body section. The body section here. Then you have the footer section down here. All this you can now change or edit the way you want them to appear. Change the way you want them to appear. Why was I saying that this theme, when you start putting your content, it won't look the same way you will view it. Let us view it from here. You can see it is still not empty because we've not posted anything. So this theme has only come up with the background image that is actually there, but then the contents are not imported, and that is why I'm saying this free domain and hosting plans, that is where they will not come up with those things. But then when you're using a package, or maybe you are in a domain and then you've installed a theme, maybe from Wordpress, you can actually import the dummy data that the theme has. So it becomes very much easy for you to edit. So you only edit if you know this section should carry like a content. You edit the content. You find another section maybe somewhere here should have a content. You edit the content. So but in this free hosting plans, you cannot actually import the demo data. We call them demo data. You cannot import the demo data. So you have once you've installed the theme, it is just as blank as it is. So that is why you cannot actually. So the moment you start posting, it will just start listing themselves down here. That is, suppose I wanted now to create a a post. So this is a post here. A new post. Let us create a new post. Let me open a new word here, like is it gonna, let me just write some demi text here, then we go and post. Then let me say hello world. Hello world. The moment you publish, it will be live. It will be live. So once you come to your blog and then you reload, you now see your first post is there. Hello world post, and then it has the date. But all these things can still be edited when it comes to your layout, but you can still edit every function or every button from here and give them more and more settings. So that is how you start a blog on blogpost.com. What of WordPress? The process is the same. Just go to wordpress.com. Go to wordpress.com. In this case, I already have a demo here, so I'll not show you how to start, but then it is the process the same. Once you go to WordPress, with the goodness with WordPress is you can use either email. You can use a Yahoo email, a Outlook email, or a Gmail email. But then with the Blogger post, it is very specific. You only use your Gmail account. With the WordPress, you can use, or you can even use the corporate emails that we talked about the other time. So the backend of a WordPress is like this. The backend of a sport arena is this way. You can see it has posts, stats, comments, earnings, pages, layout, theme, settings, reading list. So this is the same backend of a WordPress blog or a WordPress site. You can see we have the stats, upgrades, inbox, posts, media, pages, feedback, jetpack, WooCommerce, appearance, plugins, users, tools. So it is almost the same. It is almost the same. So what do you do in a WordPress? Once you've started your WordPress, it will actually take you through the same process with blog as the same as blog post. Then you will select your theme. So in this case, I have a demo account, this one here. Let me open it in a new tab, that is. Okay, you can see this is the demo. This is the demo site. So you can see from my domain, you can see the domain name is wordpress.com. It has the extension wordpress.com. It is very different with this other one. This one is marketagency.co.ke, because this one is now sponsored as is a free plan. It's a free plan. So you can see so the backend is just the same as this. From this one, the theme that I selected, I can actually change the theme from appearance here. You can see from appearance we have themes, you customize, you can change the widgets, we have menus. If you want to insert these menus here, you can see we have home, we have about, resources, environmental, education, contact. That is now the goodness with WordPress. When I go to about, you can see it is loading and I have my about form there. So you now see the goodness with WordPress again. When I installed the theme, it actually came with some dummy data. It actually came with some dummy data. You can see from here that about visitors will want to know these are all dummy data, because this website I was creating, this was a demo website. When you go to environmental education, the same. It also have some demo information or demo dummy data, but then this one doesn't. You can see it also when you move to another tab or another menu, you can see it has this. So this actually is the theme that I selected, the theme, but I could change from here. The only difference here is I cannot, you can see I can customize to a given limit, but now you can see from here there is a question, there is actually unlock all premium themes with our pro plan. Because this is a free plan, so they are giving me an option that for you to get more of a very responsive or more of a very vibrant theme, you need to upgrade to a better plan, that is a paid plan. And a paid plan, that will mean that you get a domain from them and then you get a hosting from them. So that if this website was to read EnviroSolutions, so it will read EnviroSolutions.com. They will take off the WordPress.com, the WordPress part, so that it will read EnviroSolutions.com. So that I can actually change my theme. You can see this theme is US dollars $50. This is $50. So that is actually how you start a blog. So you just come to post. If you want to make a post, come to post. You can add new post from here. The same way we did with Blogger post. You add a new post from there. You can see the title. So this one comes with we call it a classic editor. A classic editor that gives you where you need to put what. So this one, it's telling you that you write a title here, then down here you now write your content. So for example here, I'll give it a hello world. Hello world. And then down here I paste whatever I had. Once I publish, it's now published, and you can see hello world is now live. So my content is now live. So I come to this website here. If I refresh, you can now see I have this hello world for today, June 28th, and then I also have this other hello world. This one I did last year, somewhere there. So this is actually how you start a blog in this free plan, that is the blog post and WordPress. Up to that point, is there any question?